here.
Okay, but Steve, is that actually happening, or was that just a fun meme? Because, like, I've seen the Elf on the Shelf thing before. Like,
have we?
Not yet.
No, we
but
have
we're also
not done that,
live yet.
We are live now. Hello, Twitch.
Hello, Twitch, and welcome to... Oh, Steve says it's out, so that's a thing, I guess.
Yeah, I actually, when he went and posted that, I was meaning to go look for that.
It's just I've seen that kind of stuff before. Like, I've seen, like, you've heard of Elf on a Shelf, but you've never heard of...
Twitch on a Switch, yeah.
Or, like Ben Stiller on a Sen Hiller, or whatever, you know, like, and it's just dumb, memey.
Why is that what you decided to rhyme? Like, of all things you could have picked out of your ass, it was Ben.
No, we did that before we went live, remember?
He likes a challenge, I guess. We're going to sync... Is everybody recording first off?
Yes.
I am.
My liege.
In 3, 2, 1. All right. The owl from the Tootsie Roll commercials back in the 90s. Where are you at? Damn, nobody took the bait. Lucas, where are you at?
6 minutes and 42 seconds.
Okay. Ben Stiller from Zoolander, where are you at?
The middle elf from the Keebler Elves. Where are you at?
Anywho, before I forget what my time was, it was 13:37.
Okay, perfect.
Green Mecha Shy Guy from that wind-up game from the first Mario Party. Where are you at?
I was at 15 seconds.
Red Mega
5 minutes
Man.
and 15 seconds. Thank you for asking.
Good work. No problem.
Okay, well, you're the host. I'm going to toss it over to you. You just tell me when to push play, and we'll do it.
I guess I should stop playing Mario Party. It's always hard. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do a show. What the heck?
Okay. Let's put a note here.
I sound so excited.
Here we go.
Enjoying this 100% pre-recorded episode of Infendo Radio? You'll absolutely love the live stream. Head on over to twitch.tv/Infendo Radio, Thursday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 LiveStream time.
We put the donkey in Donkey Kong. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio, episode 619, I think. You know, we joked about this. I'm getting the head nod from Eugene. I'm going to say it anyway. We joked about this pre-show when we were just fooling around, making noise, and nobody told me if I was right or wrong, so, you know. Justin is writing in our show private notes, WTF is this music? Justin, this is Diddy Kong Racing, my good man. Come on.
You need to get this in your life.
I know I've heard it before, but it was not familiar to me.
Well, maybe we'll get that soon with the N64 Online. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. As you can tell, we are super prepared. We apologize if you're a live viewer, or a produced viewer, I guess, actually, because none of you got a show last week.
We apologize to anyone who is watching or listening to this.
Also true. Apologies for the last 618
have,
episodes.
I think I may have said in our private chat that I might throw something up. Never did. So sorry, but we're here now, guys.
We're here and we're ready to do a show for you. And we are so freaking prepared. We have so many topics planned to talk about tonight.
Boy,
so
howdy.
Get hype. But before that, I would like to introduce this all to you so you have a little idea of who these voices are that are filling your head and communicating with you for the next hour or so of your life. Justin, I've already called you out once tonight. How are you doing tonight? And where can the people find you when you're not doing this wonderful show?
I am doing not terribly.
About as good as we can ask.
Yeah.
It's been a rough few weeks in my personal life, but I'm managing. But you can find me wasting my precious time on Twitter at InfendoJustin. And you can also go to the Disney Park bench and see all the stuff that I've been neglecting to do. Actually, October was a pretty busy month for the website, so there's a lot of new stuff to check out there. November might be a little scant. We'll see.
Sure. You've still got about 20 days to make stuff happen, and I believe in you. Eugene, buddy, How you doing? And where can the people find you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I got a little frog in my throat, as you can tell. I've been
Me
out
both.
to see the people lately, and I feel like my immune system is not helping me out very much. Don't got COVID or anything, but it's like, man, what does a scratchy throat feel like? I haven't left the house in like 2 years. But aside from that, doing all right. You can find me and all the stuff that's going on Infendo.com in case you're interested. But more importantly, Lucas, how are you doing, and where can the people find out what's going on in your life?
Well, I also have, I wouldn't say scratchy, but it's definitely like sensitive, and it wasn't like this until pretty much right after I clocked out of work. I was in public this week because I went to jury duty summons on Tuesday and sat in a courtroom for 7 hours.
Oh,
Fun
boy.
fact, apparently telling the judge that you don't believe you have the right to judge other people is a pretty easy way to get out of jury duty. So I am not serving, which is good, because if I was, I'd probably be there today. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well, I guess. I've been playing a lot of video games in my free time, and I plan on talking about a lot of those with you guys tonight. But before that, we have some topics to discuss. A few big things, a couple of small things. So why don't we just jump into it with the big news of the week, I guess, which, unless somebody has something more exciting, I think is the fact that we now have Twitch on your Switch. So I guess technically, hypothetically, you could be watching us on a Nintendo Switch right now if you really wanted to, which is kind of a dream come true for me. I don't know. I'm not really a person that uses my Nintendo system as an application for watching things. I used to do a little YouTube on it back in the day. Then my YouTube app stopped working with Nintendo for some reason, and I couldn't load into it or watch any videos. So that pretty much stopped me from using that. I don't really, this is going to probably make me look really bad, I don't really watch anything on Twitch. I like YouTube for content. I like pre-recorded stuff, which lends itself a lot to the kind of content that I make in my free time.
Yeah.
I'm not really a streamer. I think unless like Steve is playing a game, I'm not really watching anything on Twitch. So
Speaking
this
of
doesn't really
YouTube,
impact me.
on a quick tangent, I know we're talking
Yeah.
about Twitch, but how do you
Go
feel
ahead.
about the way that they've hidden their dislike count now? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's kind of funky, isn't it? It's
Weird.
I mean, YouTube is a platform that I really appreciate for its ability to deliver a medium where anybody can go on and create content. Like myself, right? I can go on and play Super Monkey Ball and get like 10 views, and it's like the highlight of my week, right? Because I like making content, and it's really special to me. I've found a lot of creators that I really like through YouTube. The platform and the company mentality is abysmal, but I like the people that use it despite the platform, so I'm a fan of the platform by like extension, you know?
Sure.
Twitch seems more user-friendly, I think, just based on what I've seen, and I've heard some stuff about Twitch too, but they seem a little bit more into their creators, I guess. They're not constantly like changing rules and making exceptions for people that have like a bunch of followers and stuff yet. So I don't know, maybe they're a better platform. But yeah, YouTube's always been kind of sucky, especially, boy, I'm just attacking everybody tonight, but especially since Google bought them. Like, let's be real. Once Google merged over and purchased YouTube, it was kind of all over. But, you know, YouTube gonna do what YouTube gonna do. I don't know. What do you guys think
I honestly
about
don't even
stuff?
remember YouTube.
Yeah, I have no
before
feelings
Google.
on this whatsoever. Oh, go ahead, Eugene.
No, I was just making a quick comment. I don't even remember YouTube before Google.
Yeah, I do. It was a
Yeah,
bastion
like,
of free expression now. I liked it more.
I never really watched YouTube until about, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. So, and now it's pretty much all I watch. But, yeah, Twitch is not something I have ever watched or cared to watch. Kind of with Lucas on this. I like the pre-recorded, the more produced content. I have no interest in sitting and watching somebody else play a video game because, you know, I could just sit and play my own video game. So, and yeah, so So yay, Twitch is on the Switch. I would like to also get, like Netflix and other things. Now that I've started using my Switch more in bed, it can be a video device. But, yeah, I mean,
So
I'm not going to complain about it. It's good for somebody. Somebody's going to get use out of it. So
let's have a conversation about that tonight then, because let's be real, we don't know what we're talking about here. What are your thoughts on Nintendo in terms of like video game systems being a multimedia platform, and how Nintendo kind of doesn't really embrace that or do that? Because they kind of tried, I think, a little bit with the Wii U, but they were very locked in their own devices. So they had a few apps that you could use, like Crunchyroll, I remember, was a thing. I think that might even be a thing on the Switch, I don't know. But like what was it, Miiverse, is that what it was called, the writing and drawing app that everybody used? Like they were clearly trying to make it more connective at one point, but I've heard some people say that like a big reason why they don't buy Nintendo systems is because Nintendo systems are basically just video game systems, and with like an Xbox, you're getting a multimedia platform. You can play movies on it, you can go online, there's all these things that you can do that you maybe can't do on a Switch. So I don't know. I mean, my thoughts on it. I've never really wanted any of that stuff, but
the only reason I care even a little bit is because the Switch is a portable with a nice screen, and and especially with the OLED, it's an even nicer screen. It's probably the best looking tablet that I have, and I often play it, laying in bed. So that's the only reason I care, is because I like the ability to use it as a portable, streaming device. But I also have a phone. I have a tablet. I, for the most part, want my game systems to be game systems. I don't think I've ever downloaded a streaming app onto my Xboxes. I think I did for my PS3 at one point. My PS3 was my multimedia device, just because, it was, and still is, my Blu-ray player. So
for me, my Xbox 360 was that. That was my very first streaming device. I remember getting Netflix on that and just being like, how is this working? How am I streaming a movie? I was a bit, but yeah, that.
See,
I did have the media remote for the Xbox 360. Interestingly, even though I almost never used it as a streaming device, but
do you guys remember TV with two eyes? From the Wii U.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I ever used it. I don't think I ever knew how to use it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Because, we did the Xbox as a DVD player a few times, too. Back when we watched physical television, which doesn't even, nowadays, we have, my parents use the Fire Stick, and I have all my stuff on my phone. And that's how I watch TV. That's how I watch YouTube. That's how I do anything, is on my phone. If I have to watch a screen bigger than 7 inches, I'm crushed, Justin, no comment on that. But I will say that I think I got the most 7 inches. I think I got the most enjoyment on the Wii out of the news channel, the weather channel, those kind of weirdo, bizarre pseudo game apps, like the photo one where you could edit your own photos and stuff. The Wii was probably my most multimedia platform.
Well, and the difference is back then, in the days of the Wii, most people didn't have smart devices. We didn't have smart TVs. We didn't have streaming boxes. So there was a reason to have that stuff, although I don't know why anybody, I know Netflix on the Wii was a huge deal. I'm but if you get it for literally any other device, you can watch it in high definition, but,
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of get that, and I did love the weather channel and the other things just because they were fun little toys, kind of like the things that come in every WarioWare game that you unlock that you can play with for about 5 seconds, and
like the alarm clock where Wario will shout at you to wake you up or whatever.
Or the clapper toy thing. That's So I look at it sort of like that, hey, look, this thing can do this. I don't want it to. I don't care that it does, but it does, so, you know.
Yeah, I think you're kind of hitting the nail on the head, though, right? Like now with smart TVs, assuming you've got the means to own a smart TV, which they're not that expensive, I think, compared to like a regular TV these days.
I don't think you can get a non-smart TV anymore.
I was just gonna say they're
Yeah.
all
So-
smart anymore.
See, when I eventually move to my next place, I'm just going to have my little crappy TV that I had in college that doesn't have, like, an HDMI cable. So that's my life, but that's a choice, man. That's not a necessity. But, yeah, I guess with that, it just doesn't seem like as much of a need. But, like you talk to somebody with a PlayStation 5, they're still going to really tout the fact that it's like, this is my Bluetooth or my Blu-ray player, this is my whatever, blah, 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 blah kind of thing. And, there are people out there, I think, like, to a degree, the ghost of Steven, who would say that having some of these, like, technological advances are really exciting, I could see Steve going on and watching Twitch with his Bluetooth-paired headphones and his, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
Honestly, I want to go back. Let's go back to the DS where it was easy and we had PictoChat, just like Wild Flavor and Chat's talking about.
Can't do PictoChat though. That's how the child predators get you. They're gonna scoop you right up with that. Do you remember like
with that text-based chat thing with that you can only use like when you're 5 feet away?
Do you remember the news reports where like the guy's like in the airport and it's like he's standing in both sides of the airport and he's like, your child could be at risk.
Oh man, I remember that, but I used to take my DS to school like when the DS first came out, and we'd PictoChat like the 5 of us that had DSs.
I used to sit in the car on road trips with PictoChat open, just hoping close enough to me and that he would also have PictoChat open so we could communicate. And I would just send out like little SOSs waiting for
how that ever worked.
That's how it worked for me. I sat in a car with it open and I was like, come on, baby.
Oh yeah, I used to take it to like the mall.
So I remember using PictoChat one time to have a conversation with my friend in the other room. I was in the bathtub and he was watching TV in the living room and I wanted to talk to him, and this was before, we had texting on our phones. So I was, on my PictoChat, we were just having conversations and like
do you remember
not the most efficient method, but it worked.
But see, that was what was fun about PictoChat and I guess like to a lesser extent Miiverse, right? Because you could also draw things. So like we would have like picture wars where we would like send out like photos and then the other person would have to like take the photo and alter it and stuff. Like it was a fun little app, man. I really enjoy. Yeah, I like the Nintendo-y side of like entertainment stuff, I'm a big fan of extra apps. I just like them to be Nintendo branded.
Yeah, that is one thing that the Switch is lacking. It doesn't have, the face raiders and, the check me out and, these weird little free apps that serve absolutely no practical purpose, but they're there and they're fun.
Yeah, well, it also never got like its Wii Sports, so it feels a lot more like kind of a Nintendo's answer to a
1-2 Switch.
Yeah. I don't want to say that it's Nintendo's answer to a modern video game system, because honestly it's kind of Nintendo's answer to like a PS3. But in that same vein, it's like, okay, no more kiddie playing around time. You don't want a weather app. You just want a system, that kind of thing. And it's like, I kind of want the weather, I kind of miss the weather. But,
the weather app, So spinning the globe in the news app. Or no, was that the weather app? Which one had the globe? Was it the weather app?
I think they both did, honestly.
I actually got a lot of my news from the news
cool. And you could get
channel.
Get news from like Japan and stuff. Like you could click on a
awesome.
country and get like headlines. It was a neat.
I legit liked that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And they each had their own little theme song and everything.
And then you can set your Wii to blink blue when the new news came in.
Pulling the plug.
You got a message from somebody.
We've discussed enough, and I need to bore you guys with Pokemon conversation for a moment before this period of time ends. So I want to talk about something because we got a bunch of data mined details on the Pokemon remakes that are coming out later this month. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl. I don't remember which one's which because I'm not that interested in them, which is weird for me. I used to do a Pokemon podcast. I put 750 hours into Sword and Shield. I should be this game's target audience, but I'm not. So, like, I was talking to Steve last week sometime about these games, and we've been kind of like in a weird crisis mode because, we're the Pokemon guys, right? We like Pokemon, we play Pokemon, we live Pokemon. Sure. We would kill people for Pokemon, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And, neither one of us are really excited for this game. And it's not for the same reasons that everybody else isn't excited. Neither of us think that the games look particularly ugly. Like, I get it. You don't like the design, but I think that it's a decent transition from an old DS sprite style to like a 3D chibi art style. I don't think it's particularly mind-blowing, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's just the next step in what you'd expect for a game like this. Justin, you're chomping at the bit to say something.
I love it. That's... Yeah. I was gonna say that's what I want my Pokemon games to look like. I'm happy about the graphics.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't bother me at all.
I don't care enough.
But what we've learned is pretty much exactly what we expected, right? They did add something to like the underground, so there's kind of these little pockets where you can decorate your base and you can put statues of Pokemon, and that makes those Pokemon appear, and they kind of show up in the overworld, so you can kind of walk into them and battle them, kind of like in Let's Go. But it's only for that. You can have your Pokemon follow you the entire time. They're bringing back a few features that were really nice in those games, like the time of day influencing the, types of Pokemon that show up. So it's not like that it's a bad game, at least from my perspective. It's just that it doesn't do anything new. I've been actually, and this is one of the things I want to talk about and change the system, but I've been playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee again. You guys remember those ones? Those weird games where you don't actually battle wild
probably some of my favorite Pokemon games that have come out
recently. Have been really enjoying my playthrough of that. Like, it's Kanto is pretty. It's never looked as good because we've never had like a 3D version of those games before. It's fun to walk around the forest and find a Bulbasaur running around, and like it's a little different. It doesn't do anything mind-blowing, but it's new enough that I'm enjoying going back and playing it. With these Diamond and Pearl remakes, like, we're not getting a Battle Frontier, so again, there's not going to be any like big end game kind of. The big end game is the same as the end game in the last like 5 Pokemon games. There's a bunch of legendary Pokemon, and you can go out and catch them all. But if you've played any of the other remakes, then you've already done this. I did this back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Pokemon Bank was already a thing. I transferred them all over. I was telling Eugene before the show, I have Pokemon Go. I have Pokemon Sword. Right. I've gotten all of these legendaries like 3 times over. I don't need them again, So I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I think for both Steve and I, we're passing on these games, not out of like protest, not out of disgust. I don't hate Game Freak. I actually think Game Freak does an amazing job. I'm looking forward to the games that are coming out in January, the Legends Arceus, but the Pokemon guys are not going to be getting the Gen 4 remakes, and I think that should say something about like where we are with these remakes, guys. Like, I'm a little scared that I'm not interested in these games because they don't feel like they bring anything to the table other than, I guess, nostalgia, I don't really know where to go with that because, again, I know I'm kind of the Pokemon guy here, but, like,
yeah.
Do you guys have any interest? Like, are you going to buy them? Or?
Not me.
I want to have interest because, like I said, they look like the type of Pokemon games that I love, but I already have 2 Pokemon games that I love on my Switch that I never play, so, I don't need another one. I'll get Arceus, I'll get the Legends game because that's something new, and I'll play it for about 5-10 hours and fizzle out like I do with every other one, but...
And make no mistake.
Yeah,
Make no mistake. At some point in a year or 2, I will get an itch to play Diamond or Pearl, and I will eventually get these games, and I will eventually play through them, and I will eventually have the experience I know I'm going to have. But, like, I'm not getting these games at launch, and that's weird for me. You know, that's a weird feeling to be going through for me. It'd be like if they were coming out with, like, a Dark Souls game and Eugene wasn't buying it day one kind of thing. But maybe that's already happened, too. What do I know?
Well, no, not yet, anyways.
Well, thank you guys for listening to my rant. For more rantings like this, tune into Infendo Radio live every Thursday night at whatever time zone you're in. We will be right back with Change the System after a word from our non-existent sponsors.
Be right back. Hello, we're back. Let's start some new music here, and then we can start the next part. Ooh, this is like my favorite track too.
I have so many things I want to talk about. I'm afraid I'm not even going to remember.
So many
like
things
I've been wanting to
talk
make
about.
a list, but I've been so talkative tonight.
So many things to talk about. I feel like so. Yeah, I feel you. Let's go with I think Justin, because I don't want to hear myself.
Did somebody
talk.
say Minecraft?
Oh,
God.
jeez. We're going with you for our voice clip.
We're gonna go with the time zones one, and
That sounded so mean.
Want to hear us promote all the
sound
things we're doing instead of
this.
updating Infendo.com? Listen to us every
Ooh,
Thursday
that's so
night at
accurate.
Those times
perfect.
that we're on in the different.
okay, cool. That's like
Oh
one of
my
my favorite
God.
tracks in this song, so I love it.
It's one of my favorite bumpers.
Right? Right. Let's make a note. Show back. Fuck! I forgot to make a note that we had a break. It was somewhere around here.
We were only on break for like 20 seconds, so
Yeah, that's
just
what I
like
figured. Break
subtract a
question
minute.
mark. Okay, and here we go with Justin.
Want to hear us promote all the things we're doing instead of updating Infendo.com? Listen to us every Thursday night at those times that we're on in the different time zones.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Welcome back to Infendo Radio, guys. This is the part of the show that it's just become the second half of the show, honestly. But this is Change the System. This is the part where we talk about things we've been doing, games we've been playing, experiences we've been having, loves we've been loving, foods we've been eating, cakes we've been touching. Anyway, I'm going to start tonight, unless you guys have any objections, because, man, my heart is full to bursting, and I actually want to start by changing the system, which is something that I don't usually get to do here. For those of you who've been listening to the show longer than I've been alive, at one point, Change the System was actually a part where people talked about games on other video game systems they've been playing, hence the name that has become significantly less creative over time. And I want to talk about not actually a video game system at all, but an album that I have been listening to.
Okay.
Because a couple of weeks, I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't do the show. Grant Kirkhope released a 10-track album called Banjo-Kazooie Rejigget that is a collection of remixed music from the Banjo-Kazooie games. It starts with Spiral Mountain, and it is like Spiral Mountain in 20 different genres. There's like, it starts with him playing the kazoo, like, you know, the YouTube video that went viral, and it's just this like, you know, and it sounds really cheesy and corny. Then it breaks into like this hard rock, like power ballad. There's a part where he's playing like the theremin, and it's like this eerie space kind of like horror movie kind of thing. Just really
This is
cool
hard to
tracks.
imagine, but I
it
think
gets
I'm gonna have.
it gets weirder, dude. Like, there's Treasure Trove Cove is just like straight metal. My favorite, Gobi Valley is like that too. Bubble Gloop Swamp is like very traditional, but the one that blew me away was, I think it's called, what is it? It's not Freeze Easy Peak, is it? That's from Diddy Kong Racing. I don't remember. Anyway, it's the ice.
No, that's Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay, then it is Freeze Easy Peak. It is so cool. He does like a summertime ska beach remix of the ice level, and it's like so freaking cool.
I guess
like,
I have to download
That doesn't
this
seem
now.
like it should work.
It's so experimental.
Is
and
this
I
on
really,
Bandcamp?
It is on basically, I think, anything that you can stream it from, which really pissed me off because I wanted to give him money. I ended up listening to it on YouTube like 20 times because I don't have like iTunes or whatever. Steve says free on Apple Music. Yeah, I think it's free on like any major streaming service right now. So just look it up, Banjo-Kazooie Rejigget. But I very much have been enjoying just putting that on in the background. Yeah, it's been really cool. In terms of actual games I've been playing, God, there's so many in so little time. Metroid Dread, we started that last weekend.
Yes.
Cool game. Like, natural evolution of Metroid. I will say, freaking hard for a Metroid game. Like
Occasionally.
Something about not, and I've just kind of like, I don't like the counter attack thing. Like, I'm not a fan of that. I kind of wish it was a little bit more like aim up, aim left, shoot like an old school shooter kind of thing. But like being able to aim freely is really cool. Being able to like attack while dodging and jumping and spinning and sliding is cool. The Emmy encounters are freaking amazing. We've gotten to this point now where like Dad and I are playing together.
Have you been able to counter?
I've countered the Emmys a few times. It's usually just dumb luck.
I wanted to talk about this because I heard about this well after I was done with the game, so maybe it'll help you now that you're playing. Apparently, that each Emmy encounter, the timing is different, right? So that's why it's really hard to. Yeah, that's why it's hard to time it. However,
so you kind of look for that light in the eye.
Yes.
If you react like right as soon as you get that little ping.
Yeah.
That
So
lets
here's
you
the
know
thing,
it's time
though.
to-
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's actually 2 chances to counter the Emmy. There's the first one with the eye, but then the second
and
time.
when
never
it goes
gotten
for
the
the
second one.
when it goes for the neck pierce, you can counter. Yeah, I've done both.
So it's
I've never countered
Yeah.
the second attack. I can only, if I don't get the first attack, then I'm done.
So
Like,
while
I'm
the
dead,
timing
'cause-
is random, the time from the first ping to the second ping is always the same. So if you can like figure out, if you can kind of get that in your head, like, okay, this one took about like a half second or whatever.
then
type
you
of thing.
know where the second one is
second one.
interesting. Wow, it's just so cool. Like there was the part where I think at this point, can I just go full like spoiler mode, because I think I played the least out of us at least, and if you're really sensitive to this, maybe tune out for about a minute.
Depends on how far you've gotten, because I might tune out.
Okay, I'm in like, I just made it to like the 3rd area, so do with that what you will. But anyway,
I think I'm farther than
there's
you.
one with like the first Emmy where like you have to stand on a platform and let water fill it up so you can like slide into a little crevice. That's really cool. Like just being able to go invisible with the new power up and like dodge the Emmy by jumping and clinging with the spider wall. It's just so
and
many
losing
cool,
life
like-
because
And
you're
hoping,
moving.
it doesn't bump into you.
yeah. No, there's just so
All right, I
many
have to say
cool
this,
encounter moments. Yeah.
I have to say this, and I've said this on Twitter and I think Facebook. You can definitely see the alien influence.
Oh yeah,
in this
no,
game,
it's like
'cause
an 80s
the Emmy
horror
is-
movie. Yeah.
The Emmy is basically a robotic
Yeah.
xenomorph. Like,
Yeah.
even the
Yeah.
thing that comes out of its face. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
and it's
I-
beautiful. Like, it's probably the best alien game ever.
I appreciate the Alien reference. I always go to Terminator just because, you know, even though I know it's Metroid was heavily inspired by Alien, it just reminds me of like a scene from Terminator 2, you know? But it's like, oh man, it's just so cool. I will say to Eugene, I don't think this really counts as a spoiler because it's the first boss kind of that you encounter, maybe the second boss in the game, but the Kraid fight, like I totally get what you meant about like they telegraph their moves. Like as I was fighting him, I was like, oh, okay, so I can do this, and then I can do that, and then I can do this.
Yeah, it's the first Metroid game where I've actually felt like I could avoid getting hit by attacks.
And
like,
learn and grow as
Yeah.
you play. Yeah, like the second time, he killed me the first time. The second time, I got it, you know, and I figured it
Totally.
out. And
So here's something fun that I learned after I beat Craig.
Yeah.
If you sequence break and get the bombs before you fight Kraid, there's
Yeah.
a secret way you can defeat Kraid with the
Really?
bombs without having to go through that whole second section of the battle.
Really?
Like they actually predicted that people would sequence break, get this
Wow.
item, and then
With
go
a
back and
whole
fight the
new
boss.
cutscene too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Like,
See, I love that.
It's so
cool.
brilliant how they've put this game together. Anyway, I'm
kind
sorry.
of-
I'm excited about this game too. So
No, you're fine, and it's been like really enjoyable. I think if I have one criticism, and it's a very like I'm searching for criticism kind of criticism. I feel like the constant shift cutscenes is kind of taking me out of the immersion a little bit. With like old school Metroid, I'm a little bit more a fan of just encountering things, and I feel like a lot of times when I go into a new area or I slide under a particular wall, all of a sudden I'm watching a cutscene and a thing is popping out at me, and
I totally feel that because there's no you know when you walk through a door and it takes that extra like second of black, you're like, oh well, something's gonna happen now, you know.
yeah,
totally
and I
get that.
didn't mind it so much with like boss battle, like with Kraid. It was kind of cool because it was like, oh look, it's it's this enemy from all the old games chained up. This will be interesting, and they usually show you in the cutscene how to fight the monster, which is kind of cool, like charge attacks in Kraid's mouth, you know. But it's a little more annoying when it's like, oh, I'm sliding into a room and there's an Emmy, and now I have to watch Samus run from the Emmy, and it's like I could do with a little
you
less.
can skip them.
Well, yeah, but it's there. I prefer to just be experiencing it in gameplay format. But again, minor criticism to an otherwise really impressive game. I don't know that Metroid Dread is going to outdo like Super Metroid for me, because I feel like Super Metroid just has that like classic Metroid-y vibe, but I'm really enjoying the game. Like it's
So,
probably
I have not
beating
gotten
out,
completely lost in Dread, which already puts it above Super Metroid for me.
I actually kind of have. Like, I was hearing you guys talk about it and stuff, and I've been trying to use the map and put locations and stuff. Big freaking map.
It's big.
And I was surprised, actually. I thought it was going to be a little more straightforward, kind of like Metroid Fusion. I'm finding it a little bit harder. Like, I got the Varia suit. Almost completely missed it, because right before the Varia suit was a warp to like the third or the second area again, and I just happened to say, hey, before we do that, let's just go up here, because there looks like there's a little crevice we can go to, and there's a whole cutscene where there's fire filling up the room, and like I would have missed all of that.
Oh my
I'll tell you what, there's a this game is humongous. Like, this map is gigantic. I swear there's so many different like warps and like once you get to the end of the game, like you feel like it's a maze, but like
I'm always
Whenever the
amazed that I
path
keep
splits,
encountering
it's like-
teleporters and yeah.
Whenever the path splits, or encounter a teleporter or a train or something like that, it's like anxiety for me, because I'm like, well,
Yep.
wait. Whatever direction I go off in, I'm going to be for probably the next half hour. Like, which way do I want to go? Like, is this going to waste my time, or is it going to be worth it? And it's
I
usually
will say,
worth it.
though,
Like, I've never gotten lost and felt like it was a waste of time.
And I know this is your change of system, Lucas, but I will say that
Go ahead.
that for
No,
me,
I just don't kill me when I talk for another 10 minutes.
fair. For me though, I got that too, Justin. Totally got that, right? Like, it's like, God, another fork, and sometimes the fork has like 3 places that you can go to, so like you're extra anxious about it. But for me, even if it took me all the way to one corner of the map, and you can book in this game, right? Like, especially after you get some of your other abilities. I don't want to spoil some of the stuff, but like you start to get some stuff where you can really just start blazing through the game. So like, even at the end when my map was pretty much full and I had to go from one corner to the other, I was like, it's fine. It's going to take me like, 2 minutes, because like you can really just start running through this
the
thing.
locomotion in this game is really snappy. Like, there was one point where I had wandered off to look for something and then realized it was kind of a lost cause or a dead end or whatever, and then had to go back. But the back and forth only took me a few minutes, because like, if you can counter and hit the enemies that attack you and blow past the ones that aren't attacking you, you can really move from one end to the other with very little time or trouble. But yeah, if you get hit by one thing, you are stopped dead and you are forced into fighting this thing, or it's going to kick your ass.
I will say that normally I find playing Metroid games kind of a relaxing, if not slightly eerie experience. You know, kind of a quiet, slow, paced kind of game. Metroid Dread is an exhausting game. Like it is not a game that I play on like 4 hours of sleep kind of thing. Like it's a game that takes a lot of my concentration. Well, it's quick. There's a lot of reaction time kind of stuff. Like I'm happy that me and Dad are playing it together because it's the kind of game that would be kind of tough to just sit down and play on your own. I feel like it's no Super Metroid, And again, I don't really take that against the game. It's just kind of a different kind of game, but I've never really played a Metroid like this, other than maybe Samus Returns, but I never really got that into that one, the remake at least. But yeah, no, that's Metroid Dread. I'm looking forward to having more to say about that when I get through more of it.
When you guys finish that game, we have to have a spoiler talk about it on the show, because I have to talk about somebody. I've been dying.
All right. Yeah, I think we're in Area 3.
It might be a while for me, but I think I might be halfway, a third of the way, somewhere around there. I spent a lot of time on it this week.
Yeah, we're in Area 3. We've killed like 2 or 3 Emmys so far. That went quick. I was actually kind of surprised at how quick you kill the Emmys off one by one, but been enjoying it. It's been fun. Next game that I want to gush over for 15 minutes. Mario Party, which I don't think either of you own yet. But let me tell you guys, it's really freaking good. Like, you know how I complain sometimes that Nintendo's lost its touch and it doesn't make games like it used to and stuff?
They're back!
Brother, Mario Party Superstars feels like playing the N64 Mario Parties, like in all the right ways. It is so... like, I almost can't describe it without sounding hyperbolic, but it is so good at recapturing the feeling of sitting down and playing the good Mario parties. And I know that there's like a nostalgia factor to that, but beyond that, it's just a really polished, well-made, tight controls,
with
solid presentation. With online, yeah, that gets a little laggy sometimes, but not to the point of really being an issue. Me and Steve did disconnect once, but then it was just a matter of popping back in and starting up again from the same place we left off. Like, it, and I can play with Steve and his wife. Like, you can play with multiple people on one console. So, if like you and Heather wanted to play with me and Justin, we could make that happen.
That's nice that you don't have to have, like, each person have a copy, because sometimes they do that, right?
Yeah. I can't tell, like, easily my game of the year. I can't tell you how badly I wanted this and how surprised I was. First off, just surprised at how amazing it felt. Second off, when I woke up the next day and I checked online, normally when I love something, I'm wake up to seeing the internet hates it. Everyone seems to agree it's a really good game, and it just... like, I feel good about that because it's like I finally feel like I'm in alignment with the rest of the world and with, like, what Nintendo's doing at the same time. And I just got, like, more of this, please. Like, it's just such a quality experience. Like, I'm so blown away by how good this game is. So, if you are a fan of the old Mario parties and you want to experience this game, do yourself a favor and play it. It's got, like, a bundle of GameCube games, enough that you can filter for just N64 or just GameCube minigames. It's got, like, 5 minigames from the Wii era on, because, like, nobody liked those. They included, like, one from each game just to, like, fill the void. The music is all remixed. At, like, the 5-turn mark, you get these, like, jazzy renditions of the original music. It's just such a good game. It feels so right. So, like, that's awesome. It's all I've been doing in my free time. Like, when I get bored, I go on, and I was telling Steve and you before the show started, I've just been achievement hunting, because there's all these achievements to get. There's like oh, clear the triple trial mode with an S rank, or land on a Bowser space 15 times, or have 200 coins at the end of the match.
Right.
I've been going through and just playing against computers and just, like, cheesing the system to, like, do whatever I want to do. But I just really like this game, dude. Like, it's so freaking good. Steve's
I'm
also saying, yeah,
definitely-
get your online ones before people stop playing online. I'm not as worried about those. They keep them separate. I just want the ones I can achieve, you know?
I'm
ahead,
definitely going to get the game, but I'm gonna. It's a Christmas game for me. I'm gonna probably get it around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I totally get that. I'm hoping that when you get it, we can sit down and play together, because it's so freaking cool, dude. Like, I love it so much. I will be playing this game for years and years and years, and I only hope, like, it's perfect as is. There's 5 boards, there's 100 mini games, like 8 characters or whatever, you know, but maybe 10, I don't know. But I hope they add DLC, because I just want more of this amazingly good thing, you know? I would take Mario Party 4 boards, I would take more of this, I would take anything. Just keep giving me this amazing game. The only other big... Oh, well, actually... No, God, there's so much to talk about. I'm sorry. Real quick, I've restarted Animal Crossing. I'm playing Animal Crossing New Horizons because of the DLC. I'm not impressed, and I think we all knew I wasn't going to be impressed, but I've been trying to give it a fair shake. So what I did was, I've been having an Animal Crossing craving. I started New Leaf again on my 3DS. I've been loving it. I've been playing through it. It's everything I want in an Animal Crossing game. I've been playing New Horizons. I didn't restart it. I just kept going with the town I already have, because I feel like it's a lot of work to start up 2 towns in Animal Crossing at the same time. And I'm kind of proud of the work I did on the island that I already have. I don't really notice much of a difference with the updates. The villagers are supposed to visit your house. I had Anka try to stop in once when I first loaded in, and she saw that my house had cockroaches because I hadn't played in 8 months, and she walked away, and I've never had anybody try to visit my house again. I haven't tried Happy Home Designer yet, because frankly the decorating isn't really why I play Animal Crossing. They didn't really do anything about the animals' personalities. So I'm playing both at the moment. Probably going to fall off New Horizons at some point and stick with New Leaf. That's fine. This doesn't have to be my Animal Crossing game. I'm more than happy to let the people who like designing houses and stuff play New Horizons. You know, I have New Leaf, so it is what it is. Last big thing I wanted to talk about was really important. The N64 controller. Eugene, this would be a good place for you to piggyback in and become the next person to talk about the games he's been playing.
Down.
But the N64... I'm sorry, Justin, that you don't own one yet. I know you've been looking for one. I hope you get one soon. My God, this is an amazing controller.
I am jealous. I'm not going to buy one off of a scalper. I will wait until I
don't
can
do that.
get them in stock.
Please don't, because then they win.
Right. And we already know from experience, Nintendo will restock.
So, yeah, they've already said they're coming out next year.
Yeah, and I refresh every morning just in case. But yeah, like the N64 controller was one of the best controllers ever in the first place. So I can only imagine what playing these games with it was like.
So I do not gush about this stuff, right? Like, I have an 8-bit dough for now all 3 of the first Nintendo systems. I've got an NES and I've got a Super Nintendo, an NES and an SNES. Now I've got the official Nintendo one. First off, it feels phenomenal. Like, it's weightier.
Exactly like...
So it does, but it I never played with packs in my system. I always real quick, I never played with like rumble packs or anything. So mine always felt really light and like paper thin. This one, supposedly it doesn't have as much heft to it as when you put an actual rumble pack in it, but the weight is perfect. It's like the same weight as like holding a Switch.
Well, yeah,
and it just feels so good.
Because then you had a rumble pack and 2 AA batteries that you were holding as well.
Yeah.
So does the rumble come from?
Oh,
like,
dude, it
where
does.
the port would be, or does it come from the handles?
It comes from the back. And okay, I've never played an N64 game with rumble. If I did, I played like, I don't even know if I owned a rumble pack as a kid. I know I had the expansion pack that came with like Donkey Kong 64 or something. But
I had 4.
I don't know that I ever really experienced rumble with these games. Star Fox 64 with rumble is so freaking cool. Mario Tennis feels good. Yoshi's Story feels... Like, I didn't know how good rumble made these games feel, dude. It's so
good.
Incredible.
It's funny. It reminds me of when the PlayStation 3 came out and their first controllers didn't have rumble, and everybody's like, the games feel so empty. And I'm like, isn't that funny that this wasn't even a thing until just like 10 years ago when Nintendo introduced it. Now it is a standard.
Yeah, no, it feels really great. I am gonna piggyback off and tell you that I love my Nintendo 64 controller. One thing that I wish it did have though, and I think I'm gonna just do it. I modded my Nintendo 64 controller back in the day to have a GameCube stick. I think Justin may have recommended that. Actually.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I think I did it on your recommendation actually, and I'm kind of missing.
I think I
that
sent
on
you the
this.
link because you can buy them on Amazon.
Yeah, totally. And you can't do the same mod on this one because it's a slightly different connector, but somebody on YouTube has shown you how to do it. I might do that with this. I don't know that I want to take it apart though, but it has the same mechanism as the old Nintendo 64 did. So eventually it's going to get all wobbly and loose. So like when that happens,
but for me, that's just part of the experience. Like the thumb pain from using it feels good. The fact that it's gonna get all wobbly and loose is just par for the. Like I love. all of that.
So you have Stockholm syndrome.
I do. Like
they might have in the years since found out how to prevent that from happening, but
see,
who knows?
people have said no.
No,
So
apparently it's worse actually, from what people are saying.
Jeez.
My only complaint with the controller, and this is very minor. First off, real quick before I get to that, N64 games feel so good with an N64 controller, right? Like being able to boost in Star Fox with the C buttons and that kind of stuff, so good. The one thing that it's missing is an X button. It's got a ZR button because that's how you go to the menu in the N64 menu. It's got a power button to sync and connect. It's got a photo button and a home button on the top, and then other than that, it's just a normal controller. Without an X button, you can't close out of games that you're in with it, which is really frustrating. So it's like when you go to the N64 library and then you go to the home menu.
Like C up.
Have
C
not.
up? Doesn't it also? X button?
No, that's like an up on the joystick. That's like right joystick. Yeah, there's no X button that I've encountered. Maybe there's like a button combination that you can hit. Like
see, all I
B
do is
and
I'm trying to remember what I do. I just push home and just go home, and then I grab a real controller.
See, yeah, that's the thing though. But like, and this is weird because I feel like I usually don't obsess about this stuff. But not being able to close out of my applications with the controller unless I open another game. Really minor frustration that just grates on me over time. So that's like my one complaint, but I can't wait to play Ocarina of Time with this. And I didn't realize how good like this controller feels. Just this is such a it's such a horrible design, but it's such a good controller.
Oh no, come on. Honestly, this is.
But like, what is this? What is this little extra nub on the left side?
You know
like,
what I love about the Nintendo 64 controller is that it has it's got a 6-button face, right? I wish modern controllers had 6 buttons on the face, and everything else the same. Yes,
everything you need is here. And when you're holding it, I know we're on a podcast, so nobody can see us gushing over these things. But when you're holding it, your finger rests on the Z trigger, so everything you need is literally just like other than the L button, there's no button that's ever out of reach with the. And I know we're talking about a controller that was designed like 25 years ago, and this isn't news to anybody who's listening to this, but it's just so nice. Like I like it so much, and the rumble is cool. Oh man.
The only thing that Nintendo is, I'm gonna continue talking about the Nintendo 64 controller just a bit, and then I will change my system as it were. I feel like the only thing that the Nintendo 64 controller is missing now is not something that the Nintendo 64 controller is missing, but that the Switch UI is, in that there's no way that I can go into the system menu and remap my buttons. So like I can't like change what L to X or something like that, to your point, right?
Exactly.
Like I couldn't do something like that. So I actually tried to go in and play like non-Nintendo 64 controllers, and you can do it to a point, but like, you're missing buttons, like I can't push X.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing them portably, and it's not ideal. Apparently, I guess I haven't thought to try this, but I guess the right stick is also the C buttons.
Yep.
So that is okay, but like I hate that A and B are mapped to A and B. I want to use B and Y.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
there
because that's
should
where
be-
A and B were, you know.
There should be Nintendo. You take this advice. You can use it, but there should be an ability for you to, on a per game level, remap your controls. Right. So like if I boot
Yeah.
into
Like
this,
on the Wii U.
yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like I had a different button layout for N64 games for each, like for each one, because of the different layouts were different. Like, so for Star Fox 64, I had the controller laid out like the Super Nintendo Star Fox game.
Super Mario World always felt really weird on the original button scheme because it was like the B button was like your spin jump instead of your regular jump or something. So yeah, remapping those always felt really
Yeah,
A was the spin jump, but that's because you're supposed to use B and Y because that's where your thumb goes. My background is screwing up my picture, but
yeah. So that
Nintendo definitely
64
Nintendo. Yeah,
Go
Nintendo
ahead.
needs to fix that and let us map our buttons.
Totally, yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna finish my thought with. Actually, like this controller right here, beautiful, perfect. But the UI now, I want to remap my buttons. So okay, so that's
I will
enough.
say real quick
Yes.
before you go. And I've been holding these for like 10 minutes waiting to get this out here. But I have, if anybody's watching live, the now discontinued 8-bit DOE versions of the NES and the Super Nintendo controllers that I got back before Nintendo decided to make them themselves. And they got ceased and desisted, and now you can't get these. And you have to buy weird, janky knockoff versions from 8-bit DOE. And I love them. Like, they're really cool. You can play, like, games on your PC and stuff, which I think you can do with the N64, too, because it's just a USB. But, the thing that's nice about, like, the Nintendo branded version, like, these have solutions for, like, the home menu. Like, down and Y or whatever is how you get to, like, the home menu with these controllers, because they knew people were going to want to play Nintendo games with them. But when you boot them up, you just get, like, a generic gamepad symbol on your controller and everything. With the N64, you boot it up, and you get a little N64 logo, and it vibrates to tell you it's online. And there's a little sync button, so you don't have to go online and download a bunch of firmware. It's really nice using, like, the official Nintendo licensed, like, tool.
Just works.
And I don't always, I don't always feel that way about, like, licensed products, but it's so clean, man. And it plugs in with a Nintendo charger, so it's the same as you would use to, like, charge your Switch and stuff. It's just really nice. Anyway.
Now you've
please.
got me on eBay looking up the 8-bit DOE NES 30 controllers.
Jeez.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue on because I know we're clearly gonna go long tonight, but still got stuff to say. So I'm gonna try and power through so it's not too long. I have been playing Ni no Kuni. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Still love this game. It's I don't know. It's probably like a 40-hour game or so. I feel like I'm about halfway through. It's great. I love it. Fun game to play on the Switch. It's a game that now I am just remembering how much I loved it. It's got a great soundtrack. It looks fantastic. So I'm excited to play Ni no Kuni 2 now that it's out on the Switch since about a month or two ago, because I've never played that one. So excited to go right into that one. That's all I have to say about games on that Switch. However, I do have this Switch, my wife's Switch. It is a Switch that gets not so much playtime. She plays it every so often. So I actually ended up hacking this Switch, and I want to talk about that because we were talking about the Nintendo 64 experience and how it was honestly kind of lackluster. And I will say that definitively because I can play Nintendo 64 games on this thing, and I have been playing Nintendo 64 games on this thing, and I can play Nintendo 64 games with this thing with the Nintendo 64 controller, and
So you've downloaded like a library of Nintendo 64 ROMs at this point?
it's got RetroArch installed on it. So yes, I've downloaded Nintendo 64 games. I've downloaded NES games. I've downloaded SNES games on this thing. They all run fantastic. Actually, some Nintendo 64 games don't run that great, actually. So Star Fox actually runs better on the online thing because so I've been playing it there. But like I've been playing Diddy Kong Racing a lot. That's why we're listening to that this music right now. Whoo! It is good. It is fun. I am actually really excited. I hacked this Switch because, like, you know, why not? Like, I've owned all these games, most of these games. Like, you know, I'm not going to tell you that I'm 100% legal here because let's be real. But yeah, like, I love that I hacked this thing. So, Steve, if you're listening, you may not want to sell your extra Switch.
Yeah, I feel like that's my plan if I ever get a second Switch, is to use my original, like, version 1 as a... So real quick,
See, now you're making me want to do that with mine, too, because I have a spare now. I was going to give it to my kids, but if I can use it for that.
Can you run GameCube games on the Switch?
Yes.
Or is that beyond its capabilities kind of thing?
I'm pretty sure you can run GameCube games. I haven't put GameCube games on this yet.
Fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun.
Well, the RetroArch has a bunch of cores, and I'm pretty sure GameCube is one of them, but I haven't tried that yet, so I will have to report back on that one. But yeah, it's great. It is really easy to hack it as well. You have everything that you need, Lucas, because you have a 3D printer. If you're watching the live version of the show, you can see this. It's called a jig. And it is a little 3D printed object, and what you do is you slide it into the right Joy-Con rail, and it's got little, you probably can't see it on video, but it has like little metal connectors, and what it's doing is it's shorting out two of the connectors that are in there and simulating pushing the home button on an Android device, and that lets you get into the boot menu or whatever. And then,
that is so ridiculously simple.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question then that I'm channeling from the ghost of Steve, because he for those of you who don't listen to the show every week, our ex-host Steve watches the show live most times. He's messaged Eugene 3 times now with the question, can I hack a version 2 Switch? Can I hack a non-version 1 Switch? Can I hack a version 2 Switch? Eugene, can he hack a version 2 Switch, or is this limited to the OGs? Because I think Steve actually has the version 2, quote unquote, which is like slightly newer.
So
I mean, I don't think there's really any mechanical difference between. Are we talking like the red box Switch? Like, I don't think there's any like actual like mechanical.
I don't
technological difference.
I don't think there is either.
Okay, so yes, you can. Most Switches are hackable. However, there are certain versions that you cannot hack. So, like, I don't know that you can hack all red box Switches. I think there are technically some versions of that you can that are unhackable. I think Steve probably got an early version though, so I'm guessing that his is probably hackable. But I don't know. You'd have to check on. There's ways to check it. The way to check it though is to have one of these, and then to put your Switch into, you know, basically like recovery mode, and then you hook it up to either your phone, your PC. They even sell these like little things that you can just like put into the Switch, you know, that if you don't want to do any of that, and then you send a file to the Switch, and then it puts it in like super duper hacker mode or whatever, and then you can check to see, you know, okay, yeah, is my Switch is hackable or not. I don't know, Steve. If you would have to check for yourself. We can talk offline if you're very interested about that. But yeah, I hacked my Switch. It's freaking cool. I've been playing a lot of just like retro games on it. I haven't used it to be like a real pirate, I guess, and like, you know, buy download Switch games that I haven't played. I feel like that's a step too far for me. I'm more than happy to play retro games, you know, like I don't really care. I don't feel like that's like that nefarious, but yeah, it's awesome. The one other thing that I want to say about this before I toss it over to Justin is that there are a few limitations. Number one, probably know that if you're going to do this, just know that you're going to need to have a second Switch, because you're
also,
probably going to get banned from online.
it is technically not super legal because you're playing games without paying for them. So we didn't endorse this and all that,
Totally. All those things.
It could break your Switch. Be careful.
Not like Nintendo sends us anything anyway.
Sure. So yeah, definitely all those things are good points there, Lucas. But yeah, also you either have to keep one of these on you if you don't want to it's called like a hard mod or something. I don't know. There's a guide you can follow. If you don't want to do that, then you have to keep one of these on you at all times. Otherwise, you're going to put your Switch in permanent recovery mode. And then every time you turn on your Switch, you would have to plug it into your phone or, a computer to send the exploit to. So it definitely has its limitations.
Honestly, probably easier to just slide a little chip onto the side of your system and just activate it that way.
Yeah, so totally, yeah. But it's so super easy, right? If anybody wants one, I have a 3D printer and I'll send you one of these freaking things. It cost me 2 cents. Cost me more money to ship it to you, basically, in an envelope.
Please just hack responsibly and with morals, and don't use this to steal a bunch of games. Use it to play games that you already bought 20 years ago that you just want to play. Be cool. Be cool. Don't be a jerk.
But yeah, it's worth it for me because I'm enjoying so many games on my Switch, and I think I talked a couple of months ago that I hacked my Wii U. And
everything's on Switch.
Yeah, well, right. But I hacked my Wii U and I played it for a little bit, right? But it's the Wii U, right? I don't want to be playing my Wii U. But give me a list of retro games on the freaking Switch, and yeah, I'm all about it. So yeah, I'm loving it.
Full hacker and start playing PlayStation games on your Switch. That's how you win.
I downloaded Twisted Metal actually, and it runs pretty damn good.
There you go.
So, all right, Justin, it's all you. Sorry, I've been gushing about my hacking, so it's...
All right, I'm going to try to keep this brief because we are running late and I only have 19% battery left. So, there's really not a whole lot for me to discuss. As far as Switch games, I'll have more to talk about next week because both the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition and Knights of the Old Republic came out today, so I have played about a half hour's worth of GTA 3, and that's about the extent of that. I bought a couple of the Shantae games were on sale last week, and so I bought those and played a little bit of Risky's Revenge, which I'd never played. The only Shantae game I ever played was Pirate's Curse on the 3DS.
The first one? No, the first one.
That was the third one.
That was the one that ended
the first one was
disappointingly quick and out of place. I felt like it felt like it was just ramping up, and all of a sudden it just kind of stopped. But anyway, come on.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I played a little bit of that, and I played quite a bit of Metroid Dread. But we already talked that to death, so I'm not gonna really add much more to that, other than I think I am. Why? I watch the video
because
to find out why I'm just shaking my head.
Because I can.
Anywho, I've defeated, I believe, my third Emmy, possibly fourth. So I'm probably close to about the halfway point. But I don't know. I'm doing my best to try to avoid spoilers because everybody else in the world apparently finished this game the day after it came out, and I'm still plodding through it.
I couldn't put it down. I don't know how you could.
Not having time or attention span.
I could only play like a couple of hours before I'm like, okay, that was a lot. Yeah.
It took me about a week,
mentally
I guess,
and sometimes emotionally exhausting to play Metroid Dread. Speaking of mentally and emotionally exhausting, I tried playing Alien Isolation. I didn't want to get super deep into the story, so I tried playing one of the expansions that takes place during the first movie and got absolutely nowhere in it. I don't know whether the DLC is more difficult than the main game or if there's just like a learning curve that I haven't gotten through, but that is a a tough game. So I don't know how much more time I'm going to put into it. I got it on sale, so not a huge deal. Mostly, actually, what I've been playing has been on my Oculus Quest. I finally have started playing some games that have been sitting on there for a long time. I finished, what is it? Super Hot VR.
It's a good game.
I think I did that a couple of weeks ago, so I may have mentioned that already. I've been playing lots of Beat Saber with all my custom songs, and like every time I play, I might download 1 or 2 new songs to it because the new hack allows you to down the song directly to to the unit instead of having to like download it to your computer and then upload it. So that's pretty handy.
I do like that.
And Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge, which is a VR first-person shooter that takes place on the planet Batuu, which is
I don't think I played that one.
land that the Disneyland and Disney World land takes place in. So, like the beginning of the game, you're in this not the Ogus Cantina, but you're just in like a cantina, and you look out the window and you see the Millennium Falcon and the Black Spires in the background, and like having been there, like I recognized the place, so that's kind of cool. And then everything just kind of looks like kind of those mountain ranges and stuff. It's a not bad shooter. I would go so far as to say it's a good shooter. I don't know if it's fantastic. It is licensed and it is hampered by a few things, but there's some neat things with it. I find that the guns run out of ammo / power a little too quickly. So there have been moments where I've been stuck with just enemies bearing down on me and absolutely nothing to shoot them with.
Sure.
But it's really neat to be able to play a first-person shooter in VR. I use the jump move mode. I tried doing full motion and just felt like I was going to fall over. Might be a mode that's best used when you're sitting, because
sure.
Once I switch to there are 2 different ways you can do it. You can do where you're playing it like a dual stick first person shooter, or most first person VR games have a mode where you point a cursor at a spot, and when you release the joystick, your body kind of jumps to that spot. Yeah. It's not a full teleport like in this version. You actually move with it, but it definitely helps with the not getting sick.
I hate to admit, because I've always fantasized about this dot hack, Sword Art Online style, put on the headset and go into a virtual RPG world kind of thing. I get so motion sick. I played this one game that Colt was trying to get me into at one point, just like an RPG where you could be like a mage or a swordsman and stuff. You could actually walk around and
no, not for me.
It is so sickening.
It's jarring,
I can't handle it,
unless I'm sitting down. I can't do something like that.
I almost find it worse sitting down, because the disconnect between my mind and my body, where my body is still and I'm moving, it's really my brain just can't handle it. And maybe with prolonged exposure I could get used to it. I know there are people who can't even play Mario Kart because of motion sickness, so maybe I could learn to adjust, but it makes me kind of want to throw up. I kind of felt the same way when I was playing Breath of the Wild in VR with the Labo. Something about
that does not bother me, and I think it's because it's third person, not first person.
Yeah, normally
so I just
never
felt
get
like I was
sickness.
Controlling a camera, not a character.
Yeah, normally I never get motion sickness, but with VR, it kind of it's like Beat Saber, no problem. As long as I'm stationary, I'm fine. Once my character starts moving or the camera starts moving, things get funky for me, and I feel sick.
So the first time I played a game like that, the Schnazzy one got me to play a little bit of Rec Room, which is really simple VR games, and There's a shooter, like a first-person shooter game that you can play, and actually I think the whole game is first-person. But yeah, I had a really hard time with it for the first hour or so, and eventually I had to quit because I was getting so sick. And then the next time I played it, I was okay. So like, it might be something that you can get used to.
Maybe.
I know he's played like Doom all the way through in
crazy.
VR, so I mean it's definitely doable, but yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to stand in the middle of my room with my stationary boundary, and just kind of flick to move. And then what's fun is you can use the right joystick to turn and look, but you can also turn your body and look. So so when I turn and look with the joystick, it does that, the jerky motion, and then I can kind of fine tune it. It's kind of like Splatoon, where you can kind of fine tune it with the motion.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's fun, like you ducking behind rocks and boxes while the things, and I'm looking like a fool, I'm sure, but I'm the only one who's awake, so it doesn't matter.
I will stand by this. I don't know if you've ever actually looked into it or not, but I had so much fun with Sports Scramble. It's basically like Wii Sports for
I've
Oculus.
thought about getting that. I might with your recommendation.
I've seen that too, actually.
It's a fun little game. It's a sports game, but it has a lot of little fun, like silly modes to it. You can play baseball with pool noodles and stuff. I played a few rounds of it with Colt. I can't remember either because there's like 20 of them, but I used to play a zombie shooter with Phantom back when we used to game together. It was kind of like playing like a Dawn of the Dead or House
Arizona
of the Dead.
Something or other.
I don't remember the name of it, honestly. It's been a while since I booted up the Oculus, but like those kind of games, there's just like the arcadey games are so much fun on Oculus. Like I played the Darth Vader experience, cinematic, kind of neat.
I haven't done that yet.
I really like just like the simple arcadey kind of games. Those are really like my hot zone,
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like most of my time has been spent in Metroid or VR, or I did play some more Skyward Sword last night and finished another dungeon. But it's been not been a whole lot of gaming, but now that I have 4 brand new open world exploration games, I feel like, well, I don't know how open world exploration KOTOR is. I've never actually played it, but it's still a big sprawling game. So now that I have those, I'll probably have something to talk about next week that's new and exciting.
Yeah, KOTOR is less open world and more kind of like your choices kind of matter. That old... It's Bethesda, right? Am I wrong in saying
No,
that?
BioWare.
Who is it? BioWare. BioWare, that's right. That's actually who I was thinking of. That old school BioWare kind of like, you can choose one of 4 dialogue options, and they change how you progress in the game. Like, that kind of stuff. That really, like, classic, like, good BioWare kind of stuff. So, hope you enjoy it. I had a great time.
I wasn't going to get it,
Always
but
wanted
it's
to
only
play it,
$15. So
right, exactly.
Well, I've never
I got
played
I have
so
I also got Star Wars Republic Commando a little while ago when it was on sale, because I've always wanted to play that, and the Star Wars games are pretty cheap. So bring us Battlefront, man. I want classic Star Wars Battlefront.
Make it happen. All right, well, we have reached the part of the show where we get to the...
Wait, I'm sorry, one second. I just forgot one thing about my changes system. I've been playing those retro games, and the retro games have achievements, so I've been getting achievements in old Super Nintendo games, and it's cool. Okay, go on.
What do you mean, like the retro games? Are you talking about your hacking, or what is this?
On the RetroArch, you can download achievements for all your old games. So
Are you
if
serious?
Weird.
Yeah, that's what Super Metroid needs. Is
Totally.
That's crazy. That's actually kind of cool, man.
Yeah, and it pops up on your screen. It tells you like the progress of like what you're. It's cool. Go on. Sorry.
It's cool. It's a cool experience. I do wish. God, who cares? We're long. Whatever. Justin's computer's gonna die. I will say that. I feel like Nintendo's presentation with Mario Party Superstars is hopefully a sign of things to come with them. I think it's the most like quality job they've done at either porting or releasing something new in a long while. I'm super impressed. I hope that the accolades that they seem to be receiving from people, like critically, spur them on to continue to try creating quality stuff like this, because nothing about it feels phoned in. Very much unlike, I will admit, the N64 Online. I am enjoying the N64 Online because I will take what I am given and I will smile. But, like, you know, as you're pointing out, there's so many better options from third-party, you know, pirating services out there. So I really do hope that they step it up a little bit, because I after playing Mario Party, I know that they can make a really good product. It's just about time, effort, money, whatever the, you know, whatever the factor is that's causing them to not always do that with stuff. But yeah, let's hope it continues, because I'm loving Mario Party so much, guys. With that, we will be back next week. I was just gonna say, we got to the credit music in Diddy Kong, so we made it through the whole soundtrack tonight.
Literally, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Infendo Radio, tune in next week. I don't know, figure it out. You like podcasts, you know what to do. We'll be back. See you then. Bye bye.
See you real soon.
Adios. See you guys.
Peace.
All right. That was a show, huh? Want to go another hour and a half like old times?
Ooh, I almost
Man.
clicked cancel. That
You
would
know,
have been bad.
you know what we should do for like our, God, that's too far. 1,000 episodes. It's like 40 years from now. I was gonna say, but for like a really big episode, it would be fun to do like a 3-hour show. You know,
Sure.
Like that would be maybe for like.
Well, we got episode
700.
666 coming up, and
For
within
that,
a reasonable time.
For that, we should just like only talk about horror games or something. Oh, we could talk about like E.T. on the Atari and like just talk about.
We
that.
only talk
Really?
about
That's what you're
not
gonna do for
Nintendo games.
666?
Yeah, E.T. for
Talk
the
about
Atari.
fucking ET.
It almost ruined the